Hey guys, this video is about the NEET MDS counseling FAQ explanation. So, the FAQ given in the MCC website, there are so many important information given in it, and some of the FAQs are a little confusing, the questions and the explanation given there. So, I've given a brief explanation about what exactly the different types of counseling that takes place in India and how do you go about. And you can also check the description below for all the important official website links, which are linked to all the counseling process that takes place all over India. So, first, MDS seat. To get an MDS seat in India, you can go through two different routes. One is the major amount of seats, which to get into such institution, you have to write an exam called NEET MDS. So, NEET exam, you have both NEET UG and NEET PG. UG is for undergrads and PG is for post graduation. So, under post graduation itself, you if you want to write go for MDMS, that is after MBBS, you have to write NEET PG. Whereas after BDS, you have to write an exam called NEET MDS. So, through NEET MDS, you have to you can get all the PG seats all over the country except some of the institution, which includes AIMS, JIPMER and PGI Chandigarh. So AIMS, JIPMER and PGI Chandigarh, the exam which you have to write is INICET, and NEET MDS is not applicable for these three institutions. So apart from that, all the other colleges in India, to get an MDS seat, you have to write NEET MDS exam. And apart from the PG seat, the same NEET MDS exam is applicable for short service commission, the Army Dental for application of jobs or an MDS seat in Army Dental, the same NEET MDS marks are applicable. Even if you have completed the MDS examination and you're applying for Army Dental, you again have to write NEET MDS examination. So now let's get started. NEET MDS counseling, once you have written the NEET MDS exam, the counseling takes place at different parts all over the country. So, the first category is the centralized counseling. So, under the centralized counseling, GDCs will be covered and all the deemed universities, that is, the private universities which are called as deemed universities. So, all the colleges, the seats are covered under centralized counseling. Apart from that, we have some of the colleges which are called as private institutions. So, the difference between a private institution and a deemed university is deemed universities are not affiliated to the that particular state's medical board. So, every state has their own particular medical board. So, if a private college is affiliated to that particular state's medical board, then it is called as a private or self-financing institution. In case if it is not affiliated to that particular state's medical board, rather it has its own university, the university itself conducts examination, then it is called as a deemed university. So some of the institution, the private colleges, they are called as deemed universities. Some of the private colleges, they are affiliated to that particular state's medical board. Then you have something called as KEA, which is applicable only to Karnataka. So now let's see individually what are these and how many percentage of seats are allocated to those particular types of counseling. So the first one, GDC. So GDC is Government Dental College. So all over India, in different states, you have many government institution. The dental colleges are called as Government Dental College. So of all the 100 percentage of GDC seats, you have to the seats will be divided into two halves. 50 percentage they are called as all India quota, then the remaining 50 percentage is called as a state quota. So every state has 50 percentage allotted through the all India quota counseling, the 50 percentage allotted through the state quota counseling. So under the state counseling itself, if you see what all colleges come under state counseling, then the seats which come under state counseling includes the 50 percentage of the GDC seat, which is called as a state quota GDC seat. Then you have 100 percentage of self-financing colleges. So do not confuse this with the deemed university. Deemed university comes under the all India counseling, which is called as a centralized counseling, which I'll be explaining in the subsequent slide. So now just focus only on the state counseling. State counseling comprises of 50 percentage of the remaining GDC seat, which is called as a state quota seat, and 100 percentage of the self-financing colleges, which are called as private colleges affiliated to that particular state's medical board. So, of the 100 percentage of the self-financing seat itself, different states have different percentage of allocation, which is called as government quota and management quota. So, government quota means that particular state's students are usually eligible, and it is a merit quota. So most of the states, when they have the government quota seat of self-financing college or a private college, the fees will be little nominal. It will not be equivalent to a GDC's price, but it will be little bit nominal. Whereas a management quota seat, even a person from other state also can apply for that management quota, which is also called as an NRI quota. So the fees will be almost equivalent to a deemed university's price. So these are the total amount of seats which are applicable through the state counseling process. Now coming to the self-financing, which I have explained. So self-financing colleges, they are the private colleges that don't come under the deemed universities. So you have government quota and management or NRI quota, which I have already explained. And what is the percentage of allocation? It varies from state to state, and it varies every year, and it also varies from department to department. So most of the states, they do not divide it into 50%, 50%. It usually varies, and the government quota seats are very, very limited compared to the management or NRI quota. So this management or NRI quota seats, even a person who do not belong to that particular state or who do not hold any domicile certificate of that particular state also can apply for this management or NRI quota. Now coming to the Karnataka one. So you have something called as Karnataka Examination Authority. So they conduct a different counseling. So this is nothing very different. It is usual state counseling which is conducted in every particular state. But what is so special only for the Karnataka state is, in all the other states, apart from the 50% of the GDC seat, the private colleges, they are divided into only two categories, which is called as government quota, which is applicable only for that particular states or that particular domicile candidates, and the fees is little nominal. Then you have something called as a management quota, which is anyone can apply, and the fees will be little bit higher. Whereas in Karnataka state, you again have 50% of the state quota seat, which is called as a state quota GDC seat, and only Karnataka individuals or those who studied BDS in Karnataka can apply for it. Whereas you have another category where the private colleges are divided into three different categories. So those three different categories are called as government quota, then you have private quota, then you have management or NRI quota. The difference is a fees. So government quota is that like how only the GDC seats state quota, whoever can apply or whoever are eligible for that state quota GDC seat, only those students are eligible for that government quota seat of private college. Which means that Karnataka domicile person or those who studied BDS there, they can apply for this government quota Karnataka seat of that private college category. The fees will be little bit nominal, not equivalent to a GDC price, but little bit nominal. Whereas then you have another category called as private quota seat. This is also called as private quota merit seat. The reason for that is the fees is not equivalent to the government quota Karnataka seat, but it is little bit cheaper compared to a management quota seat, which means it is in between the government quota and the management quota seat. So anyone can apply for it. In the sense, not only the Karnataka, but non-Karnataka students also can apply for this private quota seat. So usually Karnataka has the maximum number of institution, dental and medical colleges compared to other states, the private colleges. So because of that, the private colleges are open for other state students also. And these other states, according to their category of merit and rank, they apply for this private quota seat as well. The reason for that is you have a nominal fees. It will not be very cheaper like a GDC seat, and it will not be very cheaper like a government quota private seat, but it will be definitely cheaper than a deemed university seats. So people try to apply for this private quota non-Karnataka seat, also called as private quota merit seat. Then you have, as usual, another category called as management or NRI quota seat. So these are the different three categories which are applicable only for the Karnataka's state counseling. So the only hype for Karnataka is this. KEA is nothing but a ordinary state counseling which happens in Karnataka state, but just that because of maximum number of private colleges in Karnataka and the flexibility of private colleges being open to other state students, many students apply for this KEA as well. But the counseling process takes place like how usual counseling takes place. All India is different. This is state counseling of Karnataka state. Now coming to the important one, which is called as a centralized counseling. So centralized counseling is conducted by the MCC. So in the MCC website, whoever willing to apply for the GDC seat, or whoever wanted to apply for deemed university seats or the central university seats, you have to go through this MCC. So MCC will conduct the complete counseling process of all these particular seats. So this is the website where you'll be logging in, and all the details related to counseling will be published only under this website. So anything and everything to download, you can go into this, and all the FAQs which I'll be explaining also, I have downloaded the FAQ brochure from this website itself. You can go to this website and click the counseling scheme. So when you click the counseling scheme, the brochure will be there. You can download the brochure and read all the FAQs related to it. It will be a big long PDF with complete explanation of how the counseling process takes place, and what is the forfeiture of fees, and what everything will be explained there. And I'll try to explain the important concept of that PDF in this video. So what are the different rounds of counseling that takes place in the centralized counseling conducted by MCC? So rounds, you have first round, second round, mop up, and then the last round is called a stray vacancy, of which if you are only targeting the GDC seat, then the GDC counseling will be applicable only for the first and second rounds. After that, it is closed. Then you have to only proceed to the state counseling. Even if some seats are not filled also, the seats will be given to the state to conduct the state counseling. So only through first round and second round you can think of GDC seat. Whereas for deemed university, you have another two more rounds which are called as mop up and stray vacancy. So now first round. So first round, you have to register. After registering, there is a payment of fee portal where you'll be paying registration fee as well as tuition fee. So I'll explain what. Registration is for the counseling process. You have a separate amount for that. And there is something called as tuition fee. And that is different for if you are applying only for the GDC seat, and it is different if you are applying for deemed seat as well. So this tuition fee, once you get a college seat, that will be adjusted with your fees. So imagine whatever amount you have paid, and you have some fee which is mentioned in the college, that fee will be deducted, and you have to only pay the remaining fee for that particular year. So this tuition fee will be adjusted with your college fee once you have got the admission. In case if you haven't got any admission, they'll refund back the tuition fee, but the registration fee which you have paid, that is gone. So it is a one-time registration fee for counseling. So after payment of fee, there will be a portal where you can fix all the choices of your preference according to your department and the college of preference. You can see, modify, and there will be one particular day where you can lock. In case if you forget to lock, the choices, whichever choices which you have kept last as your order of preference, that will be locked by itself. Then after that, they'll release a result. So this is a process of counseling, be it whichever round. So first round, what happens after all these processes, they will give a seat allotment. There are only two possibilities after registration. You either get a seat or you don't get a seat. So in case if you get a seat, then what is your procedure? You can either report to the particular college, complete your admission. Then it is done. Or you can say you don't like that particular seat and you can exit. So this, then you have another option where you don't get seat at all. In case if you don't get seat at all, then you can either go for round 2 or you can just do a free exit. It is up to you. Now, imagine there is a scenario where you've got allotted a seat. You don't like the seat, at the same time you don't want to give up the seat. So then what you can do, you can go as upgradation. So for upgradation, what you do is you go to that particular college, finish off the admission process, and during that time you have to opt for upgradation. So once you opt for upgradation, what is the procedure? Second round takes place. Same choice filling, everything like how you do the first round of counseling. Whatever seats are open, it will show. From that particular choice, you can fix all the choices. Once you have kept for upgradation, then what happens? Either you don't get a seat or you get a seat. So once you get a seat, there is a very important point. After second round, in case if you get a seat and you were thinking of upgradation, like you were wishing for upgrading into a better college, but you did not get the upgradation, then there is 2 days time period where you can do a free exit. Remember, this is applicable only for that particular candidate who have got a seat in first round and you opted for upgradation, but you did not get any upgradation, but you ended up in the first round allotted seat itself, which you did not like. So you have given only 2 days time where you can do a free exit. Whereas the other category student who did not get any seat in first round and you just registered for the second round again, in second round you have kept all the choices in order, you have got allotted a college, you cannot go for a free exit in second round. So please be very very clear and do not get this confused at all. Free exit is applicable only for first round, and the exempted category who are applicable for 2 days free exit in second round is those students who got a seat in first round and who opted for upgradation but did not get upgradation. Only those category you have only 2 days time where you can do a free exit. Otherwise, the procedure is your tuition fee will be forfeited, which means the deposit amount which you have given, it will be forfeited. If it is just a GDC seat, it is fine. Your registration will be 5,000 and your tuition fee will be somewhere 25. 25 itself is a big loss, but then at least if you accidentally miss that 25, it is fine. But on the other hand, if you are registering for deemed university, your registration will be 5,000, whereas the tuition fee or the forfeiture lock which they have given is 2 lakh. 2 lakh is quite a big amount. So in case if you do not take proper action, that is those who have opted for upgradation but you did not get upgradation, you should not waste time. They have given only 2 days time to exit. That time itself you have to exit. Otherwise, even on the third day if you think of exiting, even if you exit during that time also, your seat will also be gone and your money will also be gone. So you have to be very very careful at this point. So this is a process for GDC. Whereas in deemed university, the same process round 1 will take place. Round 2, what happens? This is a place where, in case, now there is a scenario where be it a fresh registration or you have been continuing from the first round, whatever it is. First round also you did not get any seat. Second round also you did not get any seat. So if it is GDC, the counseling ends then and there. But if it is a deemed university, you are applying for the counseling of deemed university. So first round also you did not get any seat. Second round also you did not get any seat. So then for all of you, you have another round called as mop up round. So mop up round, again you can apply for all the fresh choices and see if you are allotted any college. And once you are allotted any college, you have to definitely join the college. And if you try to exit, the same forfeiture of fees will be applicable for even mop round exit. In case even if you don't get a seat in mop round also, then you have something called a stray vacancy seat, where they will give a provision of in case if any deemed university where all the seats 3 rounds, even after giving their vacant seats for the counseling, even after 3 rounds that particular seat is not filled, then it is called as a stray vacancy, where the website will put in the full list of colleges where the seats are not filled at all, even after 3 rounds. So you can take that particular list, and if you like that particular college and particular vacant seat, if it is compatible for you, you can approach the university directly. You can go walk in and take the seat, which is only will happen after the mop up round. That is, even after 3 rounds of deemed university counseling, that particular seat in that particular deemed university is not filled at all, then the counseling authority will return back the seats to the college, and it is up to the college or up to the university to somehow fill the seat. So during that time, you can go and approach. But the only eligibility for you is you should have registered yourself in the first round, second round, or third round somehow. Mop up round, you cannot do a fresh registration. So, the only place where you can register, even if you want to go and get a seat in stray vacancy, you have to register yourself in the first round or second round. Only then you can approach the university for any remaining seat which is there in the university. You can approach the university and get the seat. So it is better to register in the first round or second round. Even if you don't have any hope at all, just register yourself so that even after 3 rounds you don't get any seat. Some seat which is there in some particular university, if you want to get a seat, you can go for a walk-in approach. So now, second round eligibility. Imagine you have registered for first round. So after first round, you did not get any seat, or whatever seat you got, you did not like it, so you just exited. Then even after exiting the first round, you can apply for second round. So that is called as, if you are a new candidate, which during first round you did not think of counseling, but after first round you thought, okay, let's apply for counseling, so you can do a new registration for second round of counseling. And first round, in case if you exited, you can again apply for second round. Or first round, if your seat is not allotted, you can apply for second round. Or first round, if some seat is allotted, you can again apply for second round for any upgradation. So these are the eligibility for second round. So under that, the first round not allotted seat and first round allotted seat, your registration is still active, so you do not register again. Your if you just log in, it's fine. Only when the choices option, or if the options are open, you just have to rearrange the choices and place the choices. So registration, re-registration is not required for first round people who are not allotted or allotted. But whereas if somebody who has exited or somebody who has not registered at all, you have to do a new registration. So this is the process for second round. Then you have mop up round. So mop up round, who all are eligible for mop up round? It is first round free exit. In case if you have applied for first round and then you free exited, then you can apply for a mop up. And second round, if somebody has not allotted any seat, then you can apply for second round. And second round, if you were allotted a seat but you did not like a seat, because after second round there is nothing called as upgradation. Only for first round there is upgradation. After second round, once you get a seat, you have to take the seat. In case if you don't like the seat, you have to exit with the fine. So in case if you have exited with the fine, then you can apply for mop up round. Otherwise you cannot apply for mop up round. So please note the point, there is no new registration. So only if you have registered in the first round or second round, then you can apply for the mop up. There is no fresh registration for mop up. So now there is a clash between all India and state counseling. So what is this clash is, usually what happens, the all India counseling, usually all India counseling should start first and it will start first. So once the first round takes place, there will be some issue or the other. Every year some issue will be there. Some particular state will take stay in the court for some other reason. So it will not take place in that particular scheme or schedule. So what happens? You take a seat in first round, and then you are waiting for state counseling also for a better seat. Usually this clash happens in people who are wishing for GDC seats. So what happens is, you have applied for all India counseling as well. You finished your first round. You did not get any seat or something. Then usually state counseling should take place after 2 rounds of all India counseling. Then only state counseling should take place. But in case after the first round of state counseling, all India itself, if the state counseling starts, what happens is, if somebody has taken a seat in first round of all India and they have confirmed their seats, then the list of that particular names will go to the state counseling authority. So the list of names who have already secured the seat and they have confirmed their seat in the All India, they are not eligible to sit in the state counseling itself. In case if you have kept for upgradation, that time you can think of sitting in state counseling. Otherwise, once you secure a seat in All India, if you have not opted for any upgradation, then you cannot sit for state counseling as well. Because what happens is, usually students take one seat in All India counseling and they also sit in state counseling and take a better seat, and this seat will not be filled at all by anyone. Then at finally the All India seat used to get reversed back to the state counseling, and easily the state counseling quota will increase from more than 50% of the allotted seat. So to avoid this, in case if somebody secures a seat and has not opted for any upgradation, or not willing for any upgradation at all, so your seat is confirmed in All India, then you're not eligible to sit in state counseling itself. Now, coming to the registration fee, usually the registration will be around 5,000 for the counseling registration, and the security deposit, which is also called as a tuition fee, for only if you are opting for the GDC seat, it is 25,000, with an category exemption of 10,000 only for the category seats. And if it is deemed university registration, then it is 5,000, and a tuition fee deposit which will be adjusted, it is 2 lakh. So this is the registration fee. For the forfeiture, first round upgrade candidates who do not get any allotment in second round and do not exit the first round in the 2 days itself, they will have a fine of 2 lakh if it is deemed, and 25,000 if it is GDC. And for any person who are allotted second round seat, even if they are exiting also, there is forfeiture of fees. So these are the two places where forfeiture of fees will be there. And even after mop up, when you are exiting the seat also, there is forfeiture of fees. So for other counseling related discussion, we have a free WhatsApp group. You can also join the WhatsApp group, where any doubts, any queries is there, you can also post in the group, and any new updates or new notices which are released in the official websites, you can share in the group. The link will be given in the description. You can join the group, or any NEET preparing students also, the link is given in the description. You can join our group. The timetable, 4-month basic timetable for the NEET preparation, it is also available in our website. You can download the same, and an empty template without any month is also given below. You can download the empty template as well for preparation. Good luck everyone. Thank you.